Good everyone. So market last night was good. There was more volatility, more stocks moving, and yeah. But I unfortunately early on in the session took a trade, averaged down, and then held that trade because it was a loser. It flushed on me, and I held that trade right through pre-market session and into the open before I actually sold it. So that caused me to be checking on it all the time. My attention was split the whole pre-market session. I was always constantly checking back to see if that stock was coming back up or if it was dumping further, and I was really indecisive about getting out of that trade. So holding and hoping probably cost me a lot of opportunity elsewhere in the market, as I missed a lot of the other stocks that were breaking out or popping up on the scanners and that sort of thing. And when I did trade them, I felt out of sync last night. I just couldn't dial in properly and get any decent trades or catch any good breakouts. So I'll have a look at that first trade on HMR was the stock that caught me out last night. So I got in that stock around 6:50 market time, and at that time it was just sitting just below VWAP, and I thought if at 7 o'clock or just prior to 7 some volume came in and it looked like it was going to break through VWAP, I'd take a position. So volume started coming in, it pushed up. I took an entry at the break of that first green candle there that sort of broke up, and then I took my profit off once it didn't look like it was going to go any further. So not a bad start to the day. Got a little bit of profit under the belt. It was only around $18, 9 cents a share, so not a big winner at all, but a nice little base hit to start the trading session with. So yeah, not too bad. I bought in again on the dip at the support on VWAP, looking for a leg higher. So I was looking for it to break out and break back up to this line here, which was the pre-market high. So I was looking for it to make a move higher as the pre-market session went on. Unfortunately, I got that completely wrong. It rejected, dumped down here, and instead of me stopping out, as I should have, as soon as it broke the VWAP, I averaged down and added to my position, expecting it to hold at this level and push back again. It did not. It kept going down. And instead of getting out of the trade altogether and just accepting my loss, I didn't. I held on to it. I just said, no, it'll come back, and I got stubborn about it, and I held on to that trade. If we go and have a look actually on, I'll bring it up on the chart here, HMR. So if we look at the pre-market session, through here. So that's the pre-market session for HMR. So HMR, this is where I first traded it. That was my entry here, my exit, and this is where it dumped down, and I doubled down on it on this point here, and then it decided to go pull back further and further, and basically went up and down between around $2.70, $2.75 to around $2.90, $2.99. I think it reached a high point where I thought I might take it off the table at $2.99, but I thought, no, it'll come up and break through VWAP. So that would have been around a $40 loss, not too bad, but didn't take it off the table there, continued to hold it into the open. So not a great strategy at all. And at the open, I kind of did expect it to do this dip. So on the previous day, it had dipped similarly at the open. So I kind of expected it to dip down again. Although when it dipped down to here, around 260, 270, you know, here I'm down around, what was it, 160, 150 dollars in the red. So not a great feeling to be down that much and holding. And then it started to rally. So once it started to rally, that really split my attention again. I wanted to watch this instead of trading other stocks that were making better moves at the open. So eventually I got out of the trades. I didn't hold through to profit on my initial trade. I actually took a loss on that, and I made about $8 on the other trade. So made a loss of about $4 on that trade in the end. I had wanted to actually hold this until I had a sell order in at 326. Probably should have kept it in the end, but when it reached up to around my break-even point, I'd had enough and I got out of the trade. So not a great start. Well, actually, terrible trade to begin with, and then having that weighing on my mind the whole time was just, it was terrible. But I did trade some other stocks during pre-market. So I traded SNES, which was the next trade. And this popped up. I'm not sure if it had breaking news. I think it was actually, it had popped up the other day. So SNES had popped up again. I jumped in on the dip here and tried to get a quick exit out up here, but it got filled pretty low. So didn't really make much on that trade. I think I only made, what was it? Yeah, only made about $13, $14 on that trade. And then that's where I should have left it. Really, it was, it had, you know, retraced most of the move that it had broken out with here. It had retraced it back down, and getting at this point here when it broke that support line wasn't a good idea. It flushed all the way down here, and I ended up having to take a loss down here of, you know, $59, so 29 cents a share. I only really like to take between 10 to 20 cents a share as my stop loss. So yeah, not great on that trade either. After SNES, I traded CRVO, which had been up yesterday as well, and this was a continuation stock. So this one here, my first trade, I actually missed, if I bring it up on this one here, I missed the first breakout completely. Didn't even see it coming up on the scanners, and I actually had that on a watch list. So should have put an alarm on it or something to warn me when it broke through this pivot point or got close to that pivot. But it didn't do that, so this entire move through here, sorry, get rid of that, through here I missed. My first entry, I think, was in here, in this level here where it had gone into consolidation. I thought I'll buy in here looking for this breakout here. Unfortunately, I got out on this candle here as it hit resistance. I took my profit there. And I think the next trade on CRVO as well, actually, if I bring up that one there. Yeah, so that was my first trade. A little bit of profit, but not great again. And then I had a loss. So bought in at 755. Is that on that one? That's not on that one. 755, here we go. Yeah, so bought in at 755 up here after the break on the pullback, looking for a leg higher. Did break through there, but it rejected straight away off that break and flushed down. I took my exit down here and stopped out. So again, not a good trade there. Looking for that breakthrough, didn't work, rejected off that level and pulled right back. It did actually break higher, I think, after that, but yeah, I didn't get that one. So next level I took it at was $7.40 and I got about $15 on that trade. So let's have a look at this one here. So in here at about 7.40 on the pullback after I'd gotten out of that flush and sold too early. There was a little bit of light selling here and I got out too early. Should have held that longer and I would have made a much better trade, getting possibly more like 40 cents a share instead of I think like 20, 29 or something like that cents a share. And then my next trade after that, again, missed the breakout again. And this was around 8.20, and I think because didn't hold this one long enough, I'd gone back to HMR and had a look at that, and then I missed the breakout on CRVO again, breaking up to $8. So took a small loss on that one. Ended up about break even on my trades on CRVO. But yeah, took a couple more trades on it. I traded it about 6 times, I think. 6 trades on it. This one here. So this one here, I jumped in. That one there. So there's that one there, and then I jumped in here after the break of $8 and got a small winner. I did hold this through this pullback and then it pushed up and I took it off the table straight away, and then it flushed all the way down here and I was glad I wasn't in for that. So small profit on that one between 8.18 and 8.25. $8.18, $8.25. Yeah, so that was my last trade on CRVO. Then traded LFWD. So this is my biggest loss today. I jumped in on this one as it came back down to retest the VWAP. It had already made a high of 295 and it pulled back through the VWAP and I didn't get the break of VWAP. Coming down to test VWAP again, jumped in here a bit early. It didn't hold and flushed down here and I took my stop loss. Probably could have been out at this level here once I realized that it's starting to break through VWAP and not really holding. And that red candle there, pretty big red candle on the volume bar there, so probably a good indication that it was going to sell off. My next trade on it was when it started coming back up. I took the trade through here on this candle here, looking for it to break through this level and come up through VWAP. Rejected off there, but I held through that and then took my exit up here at the resistance. Got back in again straight away on that support level and looking for the break again, but just didn't hold. Got shaken out of this trade again once it sort of rejected off the VWAP, and possibly should have tried again maybe, but I think I'd had enough of that stock, and I didn't really like the price action on LFWD. But yeah, that was LFWD. So down on that stock by about $40, $66 loss, a small winner, $3.91, and then $19.99, around $20 winner as well. So not great. Then I went back to HMR. Lost on my first trade on HMR. This one here, I jumped in. Oh, that's right. Jumped in here as it broke through the pre-market high, thinking it was going to make a leg higher. It didn't go. It rejected off that level and pulled back. So I stopped out in here. So not a bad idea, but it just didn't go at that time. Bought back in here on the dip. It pulled back a little bit, held through that consolidation period, pushed up, thought it was going to go, but just a little bit of resistance there at that level, around 333, 334. So took my profit, took my trade off the table there. Did actually pull back a little bit further and then actually broke through that level, and I missed that breakout. I stopped. That was my last trade on HMR. And I took a little break here. I wasn't quite sure. I usually stop around 10 o'clock market time, stop trading. But I saw a stock yesterday that I traded, MSTZ, was down a low and it was stepping up. So I thought I would take a trade on that. My first position I took was around $19.20 as it sort of broke up through, if I come in here. So it had been stepping up and coming back up to the VWAP. I took an entry here on this pullback, sold way too early, had some resistance, light resistance on the level 2, and I thought, no, I'm just going to lock in some profit, so I locked it in. Probably could have bought back in straight away, but didn't, and made okay profit on that that trade there with, what did we make? What's that? 31. Yep. So $31 profit there. That's not bad for me. So that was good. Bought back high on this next trade. Bought back in here, thinking it was just going to push higher and not pull back. Probably should have been more patient and waited for the pullback, and bought in at this level here on the second green candle where it was breaking over the previous green candle. Having the doji there, it looks like a reversal. So probably bought in a bit too high, but pulled back. I held through that, and as it broke through VWAP, I took my profit off the table there. That was my best trade of the day, actually, I think. And took it at the resistance at the whole dollar. So I wasn't quite sure if it was going to break through $20. It didn't initially, but eventually it did break through. The next trade I took was after it broken through, I think. Let's have a look here. Yeah, so this is where I took my exit over here, and it pulled back, dipped back down through the VWAP, and then pushed back up. Probably should have been in around here for the break over VWAP and pushed back to $20. That would have been a decent trade. It did top out here at about $20.10, have another pullback, and then it pushed again. So when I was looking at it through this area here, I was looking at buying at that level around 19.95, but I missed this entry initially, the first pullback here. It pushed up, and I did have a buy order in around 19.95, 19.93, and when it started pulling back, I actually took it off the table, took my buy order out, cancelled it, as I wasn't quite sure if it was going to bottom there again or whether it was going to drop. So really, once it had shown strength, then I should have been back in on this candle, looking for the breakthrough, but didn't do that. Missed that breakout there. That would have been a good trade. Didn't get that. Bought in here off this low here, pulling back here, and didn't get filled well when I took my exit. Was in around $20.26, 27, and I think I got filled around 35 or something like that. Actually, I'll have a look. What did I get filled at? Yeah, so I got 2026 and 2034 was my exit. And my last trade was once it dipped. So it actually rejected off that level, pushed a bit higher where I got out, went up to 2042, then flushed all the way back down to VWAP, broke through VWAP, and then held and pushed higher. I jumped in here for that break of that first green candle, looking for a pushback. It did, and I got a small winner here. Probably could have held it a little bit longer, but once it hit resistance up here, I jumped out and got filled there. So it was pretty quick to get in and out of those trades at the end, especially after I'd had a few trades that had not gone my way, and got caught in a couple flushes today. So that was the session. I had some issues today, really had some issues today when I'm being split between HMR, holding that throughout pre-market, missing a lot of trades during pre-market. And then after I'd gotten out of that trade, I just couldn't get in sync with the stocks I traded. Probably the best one I traded was the last one, MSTZ. But the other trades were just really difficult. Missed the breakouts, traded a lot of dips, and got caught in a couple of rejections and didn't get out quick enough. So not great. Also a CRVO that was a margin restricted stock today, so I could only trade 100 shares, and yesterday I could trade 200 shares, no problem on it, but today, possibly because of the volatility that it had yesterday, it was only the platform was only allowing me to trade 100 shares at a time. So that was an issue as well. And when I trade 100 shares, I don't get commission free. I have to trade over 200 shares to get free commissions, and I have to have my orders sit orders sit there for at least a second before they get filled for the commission to be free. So I traded CRVO, took 6 trades on it, so entries and exits I get charged $1, so I probably got charged a little over $12 in fees and commissions just on that stock alone. And today I am only up, I'm only up $40 on the day, gross profit. So after you take out just CRVO's commissions, that's, you know, that's down to $28 after that one stock. And then I traded a whole lot of other stocks, and I would have some commissions on those as well. So hopefully I've still got some profit left after the commissions get taken out. I'll find out later on when I go and check my platform when they add the commissions to my trades. So not a great day. If we have a look at my stats here, 70% accuracy. I took 20 trades total, 14 green, 6 red. Average loss of $33 and an average winner of $16. So my risk reward ratio is still poor at 0.48. Really need to work on that to get that up. Really need to have that risk reward ratio at least 1 or higher, and then I'll be much more profitable and be, you know, my account will grow if I can do that. My account at the moment is not growing much, or is probably going to be more like declining if I can't get my risk reward ratio up. So those are my trades for today. I was lucky today. I hold and hope, it rallied, and I got away with not losing massive profits or hundreds of dollars in profits. So, you know, lesson learnt. It would have been better to have just stopped out, taken a small recoverable loss, and then moved on to the next trade, and not having that hold and hope hanging over me the whole time, distracting me from other trades and other stocks that I was trying to trade. So if you've ever held and hoped that a stock would rally back up, leave a comment below and like and subscribe. That's it from me. Trade smart, stay focused, and I will see you tomorrow.